All right, so I'm not sure if people are into these types of like patch note discussion videos, but I'm currently waiting for some better major or minor condition maps to pop up here. So I figured I'd kind of go over the patch notes. I'm a little late. My sleep schedule's a little messed up right now, so I am a little bit late on this, but figured I'd go over it while I'm waiting anyway. I know there's some stuff in here that people have been waiting for, some things people aren't happy about, that kind of thing. So we'll go over that, kind of discuss a little bit here, and go from there. Obviously, you guys can read these yourself, so if you want to do that, by all means. But I like to discuss these things, some of the things a little bit as well. So that is what we are going to do here. So luckily, we don't have to read this on their main page where it's super bright white. We got nice chill gray here. Don't have to fry our eyeballs. But yeah, Raiders. It's been a week since we stepped into Stellamontis. We have some updates from Speranza with bug fixes, balance changes, and a little surprise. It's not that big of a surprise, but all right. Starting off with some balance changes here. The Deadline Mines, which is the new mines, the epic rarity 1000 damage mine or whatever. The buy value from the vendors, which you can buy it from Apollo, goes from 8,100 up to 15,000, so almost doubles the price there. The sell value goes from 3,000 to 5,000. The crafting goes from 2 explosive compound and a synthesized fuel, which I believe are the blue rarity red fuel. I don't really see them too often, so it's actually kind of nice that it's switching away from that to 3 explosive compound, which is like the sausage, the half-eaten sausage, these things right here. Right. The blue rarity half-eaten sausages, these things. So it goes from 2 of those to 3 of those, plus a couple arc circuitry. These are super easy to get. Those are these little things. You get them from tons of stuff. So I usually have more. I don't really loot too much these days, unless I just need to replenish stocks, but these are super easy to come by if you're killing bigger arc. Even if you loot probes and couriers and stuff, you'll find some of these. So not super hard to get. You can recycle blue shields to get these as well. Lots of ways to get them, but that's not too bad. The trader stock goes from 3 to 1, so you can only buy 1 a day. So yeah, not terrible changes there. I don't really use these too much. I tried to meme and put one on a queen at one point, but I think everybody around me died, so I was the focus, and I was getting like flashbang constantly fighting her and a bastion and a bunch of other stuff, and I just got shredded. But I wanted to try and stick it to her. It does do 1,000 damage, but yeah, maybe one day I'll meme and get that done. Power cells, which I assume are the like little basic gray arc power cells that you get from pretty much any arc. Cell value drops there quite a bit actually, but yeah, I use these to craft shield rechargers, so they're kind of nice to keep. But yeah, if you're selling them, you're not getting as much anymore. Launcher ammo. Now here's an interesting one. So this is for the hull cracker. So to buy them, you used to buy them in 10s, which was weird because they stack up to 24, so it's just an odd number. Now you can buy them in 6s, which ends up equaling or multiplying into 24 a little bit easier. But they are more expensive now. So the old rate was about 600 per round, not about, it was 600 per round. Now it's 750 per round, which is interesting because they, in a way, nerfed the hull cracker. So it's interesting that the price goes up as well. Cell value goes up a little bit as well. Crafting. The old was 6 launcher ammo for 4 metal parts and 1 explosive compound. Again, those half-eaten sausages. And now it's still the same amount of ammo, 6, for 1 motion core, which you can usually get on like leapers and stuff like that, and 2 crude explosives, which are the green rarity ones. Right here, do I even have any right now? Yeah, I have 1 right now. These little guys here, let me scroll up a little bit. These little guys here. So you're kind of saving a bit. Normally you can craft the compound explosive, whatever it is, the sausage, You can craft those for 2 of these and 2 oil, I believe, these guys here. So you can craft them for that. Now you can skip that. You just do a motion core and 2 of the green guys. These again are, if you're out there killing leapers and bigger arc, pretty easy to come by. I'm selling them constantly. I keep probably 4 stacks and then I sell the rest. So they're pretty easy to come by. Crude explosives are pretty easy to come by as well. So not too bad. Launcher ammo crafting is available at the workshop without needing a blueprint. I think it's always been that way. Okay, so here's the big one, the Venator. Now I want to point out before I read this, I do like the fact that they are putting these dev notes in this. I said this in the last one. I like to see these. I like to see the reasoning, that kind of thing. I want to know where they are, what their mindset is, what they're feeling, not just all this gone and just the changes. I don't want to see just that. Up here is kind of whatever, but for big changes like this that were kind of a hot topic, it's very nice to see these dev notes. So awesome to see that in here. So the fully upgraded Venator has been overperforming recently, capable of outgunning full squads using close range weapons. We're retuning the fire rate gained from upgrades to pull down the pacing a bit while still keeping its damage and accuracy intact. This should encourage players to take some more time with their shots rather than mag dumping the first poor soul they encounter. The community also rightfully pointed out that the weight of the Venator was inconsistent with the weights of other pistols, so we've corrected that as well. So they're going from for the fire rate, they're going from 22, 44, 60% at max upgrade to 13, 26, 40. So pretty big drop in fire rate, and then increasing the weight from 2 to 5. Now, I've seen a lot of things with this. I've seen people saying that it was a good change and the Venator isn't broken now, but it's still decent, which is good. If that's the case, personally, I don't really use the Venator, so I don't have a ton of experience with it. I'm not necessarily a meta gun user, so I don't really use it too often to know. I think I've maybe used it once, if that. So I don't really have any experience with it. But yeah, I'm hearing anything from it's good now. It's in a good spot. The nerf did what it needed to do. But then I've heard other people complaining that it's too much and now it's broken, or broken in a bad way and it's unusable and that kind of thing. People are mad about the nerf, that sort of thing. So, and then I've also heard people say that they don't think it was nerfed enough. So there's all kinds of stuff. What I want to say about that is it is better for devs to, if they're going to do nerfs, to do it in stages, smaller bites. Okay, we've nerfed the fire rate a little bit. Let it play out. Let the community run with it. See if it's broken. See how the meta develops, that kind of thing. And if it still needs to be nerfed, nerf it more. Give it time. Be patient. They've addressed it somewhat. If it's not enough, they'll do it again. So just be patient. You don't want things nerfed to the point where they're now unusable and then something else fills that void and now that's the broken thing that everybody's using. You want to try and get everything on as much as possible. Try to get everything on like an even playing field. So give it time. Clearly they've addressed it. I would like to see them address these issues immediately, in the sense that, hey, we see the Venator's overperforming. We're looking at it. Just know that we have an eye on it. I want to see more stuff like that for major issues, but still, they address this somewhat in a somewhat reasonable time. So it's good to see that. Again, be patient. If it needs to be nerfed again, they will. Now, here's the explosive damage change. I don't know. Okay, so we'll read it. I wasn't sure if this was going to be just for the hull cracker or for all explosives. So let's read that. We noticed that explosive damage dealt to more parts at once than intended, allowing weapons like the hull cracker to kill larger drones too quickly. We've adjusted explosive damage to make it more consistent across the board, and we've rebalanced the damage of the hull cracker to account for that change. This will require hull cracker shots to need a bit more precision. We'll talk about that in a sec, while still dealing good damage to the targeted spot. So rebalanced explosive damage against arc for a more consistent experience. So there's a little vague there. Explosions on smaller enemies, example turrets, are largely unaffected. Explosions on larger enemies, example Bastion, will typically deal a bit less damage. Now, one thing I'm not 100% sure here, if they mean explosives in general. So your trigger mines, your just grenades in general. I don't know if they just mean the hull cracker or all together. That said, I haven't really noticed too much of a difference with the hull cracker. I fought the matriarch today. I don't know if I did the queen. Fought a bunch of little stuff. I was doing leaper runs on dam. Not that it matters where it was, but I was doing my trial stuff on dam electro, trying to fight leapers. I didn't really notice a huge difference. It can be a little tougher to tell on stuff like the matriarch, just because she takes so much more shots to kill. It's hard to track that kind of stuff unless you're really paying attention. But on the leapers, it maybe took a little bit more. So I think essentially what happens here, if you hit like a leg or something of a leaper, the explosion was too big and was hitting the torso as well and making him die just so much quicker without having to dead shot the torso or the eyeball, whatever, in the center. But I was still able to take him out fairly quickly, so it didn't feel too bad. I don't like that they didn't, like, obviously up here with the Venator, they told us exactly what they did, right? But they mentioned here, we've rebalanced the damage of the hull cracker to account for that change. Okay, what did you change? What did you actually change? I don't know if it says on the hull cracker itself. I think before it was 100 damage. I don't, where are you? Oh, you can't see it here. That's another thing I think they need to a little side note, they need to change that. This stuff is so inconsistent. You come here, you don't see any of the damage or even the bars. You go to crafting. Now suddenly we see the damage, fire rate, the bars, but no numbers. And then you go to upgrading. It doesn't really matter what we upgrade here. And then you get all the numbers and stuff. So it's like, why don't we just see this everywhere? It's super weird to me. Super weird to me. Anyway, so we have to come in here to see the hull cracker. So see, as far as I remember, it was always 100. So I don't really know what they've changed. They said what were the words? Rebalance the damage of the hull cracker to account for that change. What did you rebalance? There's nothing here. What did you rebalance? So a bit of a missed bit here. It would be nice to see actual numbers so we know what changed, because again, from what I remember, it was always 100 damage. So I don't know. Anyway, moving on from there, content and bug fixes. For Arc, fixed a bug where Arc could call down reinforcements outside the map. Can't say I ever experienced that. For the Shredder, I know a lot of people are getting shredded by the Shredder, but now we'll detect and move more reliably towards lure grenades. I personally haven't experienced this, but I have seen other people throw a lure grenade and it just ignores them and goes after somebody else. Shredder movement and handling updated, slightly reduced turn speed, improved braking, stiffer suspension. Sounds like we're tuning a car. And more consistent reactions to impacts for steadier behavior in combat. Improved Shredder navigation to prevent it from getting stuck on corners while moving towards a player. I haven't noticed that too much, but as long as you get a piece of cover, these guys aren't too bad. But looks like there's some decent stuff there. Audio, reduced volume attenuation. I don't know if I've used that word very much in my life, but for explosion, tinnitus, and concussion effects to improve clarity. I haven't really noticed too much there. If I'm getting tinnitus, I can't hear much anyway. So yeah, I haven't really noticed too much with that. One thing I will say with audio, again, super side tangent here. I don't know if you guys have noticed this. If you have, let me know. I haven't really tested it too much, but I was running night mode. Night mode is great because it kind of helps with footsteps. they're still absent a lot of times, but it helps with footsteps because it brings all audio up to essentially the same level, right? What I was noticing, however, with both flying arc as well as raider caches, you know how raider caches make the noise when you're close to them? I was having a really hard time with directional audio and locating them. Every time I would see either a raider cache or a flying arc, the audio would be to my right, or it would be too much to the right. Like if something was on my left, it would actually sound like it was more to my right. So I'd be tracking a, let's say a Rocketeer, right? I'd be looking right at the Rocketeer, but it would sound like it's to the right a little bit. As soon as I took night mode off, I was able to, with raider caches and everything, pick things up where I looked. If I heard something in this direction, I looked that direction and it was there. So I don't know if there's some kind of bug with night mode to cause that, but that was something I noticed. And yet, but the problem now is I either get directional audio with night mode off, or footsteps are almost non-existent in strange places. There'll be a dude running in front of me in the same room. I have a clip of it too. I won't play it right now. That's not the point of this. But in the same room, I can see him running after the fact. I didn't see him during because it was really dark. I can see him running, but I don't hear a single sound, a single footstep. And then other times, I'll hear a dude like up on top of, like through thick concrete. I'll hear clear as day. So there's some weird stuff with footstep audio and with night mode. So if you're having problems with directional, try turning off night mode, but you're now risking losing even more of the footstep audio. So again, super side tangent there, but wanted to mention that while we were talking about audio. Hopefully that's something they're aware of and they will look into, if that even is an issue, or if maybe it's just a me issue. I don't know. Maps. Barricades can no longer be placed overlapping your character, preventing clipping through walls and access to locked doors. So now I know there was a lot of things where people were putting down barricades to push their teammates through locked doors and bypassing the doors. So it looks like they've fixed that to an extent. Dam Battlegrounds fixed an issues where a player could get stuck in the dam control tower elevator shaft. I haven't seen that. Fixed an issue where players could access the locked room on control tower without a key. I don't know if that's related here or if there was some other way, but either way, that's good. Spaceport added collision to the staircase walls and ceilings in the hidden bunker on Spaceport. I know a lot of people were falling through and falling out of the map, essentially. Fixed an issue where players could enter the wall near the launch tower ramp on Spaceport, preventing unfair ambushes. That I'm not too sure about. I do know on Blue Gate there's something like that down in the parking garage, the underground highway, whatever. There's a certain wall where you can walk inside of it and be invisible, essentially. So I don't see them fixing that. Hopefully they get to that. Fixed railing props on Blue Gate that mistakenly block bullets. Shots now pass through as expected. There is a lot of this on multiple maps. There's some other stuff on Blue Gate in some of the underground bits. There's like these round silo type things, and their hitbox is actually square. So if you're trying to shoot like diagonally along the edge of one of the circular silos, you'll actually hit an invisible wall. And then also on Dam, the northern extraction, underneath there's like a hallway. There's a ladder that climbs up into like a hallway bit. I don't know if you guys know where that is, but there's a small room, and then there's a room to the north of that with stairs that go up to the extraction area. But then there's a longer hallway underneath, and the windows there, when you walk along them and you try and ADS and shoot through them, you'll see that your crosshair gets scuffed, as if there's something there on the ledge. So hopefully they're on top of stuff like that too. I should clip it and send it to them and try and get them to fix it. But yeah, there's a lot of this kind of stuff. There's a lot of like invisible wall stuff, which kind of sucks. There's some other spots. I'm gonna maybe I'll do a run on Dam and clip some of these spots so I can submit them as issues. Anyway, moving on. Stellamontis fixed a collision issue on Stellamontis. Wait, did I? Yeah, I read that one. On Stellamontis near the train station that could cause players to fall through the terrain. Fixed a location in Stellamontis train where players could get stuck. Remove 2 player spawns on Stellamontis that were too close to arc spawn areas. Fixed a missing visibility collision on walls in the business center area of Stellamontis that allowed shots to pass through. Interesting. When I heard about this, remove the 2 player spawns, I thought it was going to be because that's one of the big issues on Stellamontis is everything's so tight and compact there, and there's not like, there doesn't seem to be any restrictions on, not any good restrictions on where you can spawn in relation to other players that are already in. I've seen clips of people spawning in and instantly being like right in front of people and they're dead before their screen, you know how it fades to not black. I've seen them dead before they're even fully in the raid before. And then I've also seen people spawn within like 30 meters or so of other people that are in the middle of a fight. That stuff needs to be fixed. Like that's bad. That's really, really bad. So that's what I thought was going to happen with this. These player spawns were removed because of that, but it looks like it's just because they're too close to arc spawns. So hopefully they're on top of that because that is really, really bad. There should be things in place where you cannot spawn anywhere near people in a reasonable distance at any point. If people are always in that area or always near spawns, then nobody should spawn for the rest of the raid. Like there needs to be restrictions like that because it is super frustrating when you are in the middle of a fight and somebody spawns literally beside you and shoots you in the back. That should never ever happen. So again, hopefully they're on top of that kind of stuff. Moving on to miscellaneous, fixed a crash when using radar voice proximity chat on PCs without AVX2 support. Fixed a crash that occurred when surrendering after reconnecting to a session. Fixed an issue where scavenging parts from the shredder could leave behind invisible collisions. Fixed an issue where the trial's weekly rollover could display an outdated rank. The celebration now reflects the correct current rank, and the UI remains accurate during the cooldown period. Updated recommended AMD graphics driver to version 25.11.1 to reduce crash issues on AMD GPUs. Your radar den has been ducked out. So I thought I saw it somewhere else, but here they just kind of went vague with it. But apparently, I don't remember if I saw that it was an infinite amount of ducks you can have, or if it's a certain amount, just a lot more now. But apparently you can have a ton of ducks in your stash now. I'm curious how they did this. Like if somebody went in and had to individually place these. So like 1 duck here, 2 duck, 3 duck, 4 duck, for all of these. Or if they have it AI generated somehow. But yeah, so you can have as many ducks as you want now, sort of, potentially. I'm gonna have to start collecting and see. I don't know if I want to take up space though for the meme. We'll see. But yeah, there you go. You can have lots of ducks now. Movement, improved enemy ground detection to better handle steep surfaces, reducing erratic movement when traversing angled terrain. What, can I have that for me? I don't give a shit about the enemy. I want less erratic garbage when there's so much like weird terrain in the game. Certain things will be super steep and you can walk straight up easy, and then there'll be other things that are way less steep and it's like it's covered in bacon grease. Yeah, I want that. I don't give a shit about the enemy. I want to not slip and slide and get all janky on the terrain. That's what I want. But anyway, weapons. Aphelion fixed an issue where Aphelion tracers could become excessively bright at distance, reducing visibility for players being shot at, and increased the Aphelion blueprint drop rates. So, couple things here. what we've come to discover is that the Aphelion blueprint can drop on the matriarch. I personally haven't found it yet. I've only killed her once, and somebody else jumped in there and scooped up all that loot immediately. So I don't even know if it dropped in that run. But it does spawn on the queen now. I don't know, or on the matriarch now. I don't know if that's the only place it spawns, but from my understanding, that is where you get it. I have seen videos of people getting it from there, so that is a thing. I also heard that other blueprints can spawn on the matriarch as well. Somebody said they found the Jupiter blueprint on it, so it might be a random blueprint. I don't know if it's a blueprint every time and then it's random or what, but that is apparently where you get the Aphelion. Now it says fix an issue where Aphelion tracers could be excessively bright, blah blah blah. That makes me think somebody was using it and reported that. So I don't know if the blueprint was already in the game, which we'll talk about in a sec here, and then it just was content creators or people that published that to the public hadn't found it yet, and it was maybe super rare, or if this was something they discovered themselves in testing that it was too bright. I'm not sure, but it does say they increased the blueprint drop rates. So I don't know if it was, again, just a super low drop rate, or it was they forgot to maybe put it in the game, and now they've increased the drop rate. Maybe it was 0. Somebody forgot some decimal points or something. But either way, it is now dropping, and I have seen people with it. I personally haven't got to try it. Apparently it's like a battle rifle. It's like a burst energy rifle type thing. Doesn't look super exciting, but I'll have to try it out at some point if I can get my hands on it. But yeah, it is in the game now. I wanted to say something else on that point and then I forgot. Anyway, moving on. Stitcher corrected player facing stats for the Stitcher, showing correct scaling of reload times across upgrade levels. Not too sure about that, but yeah, that is basically it. I'm trying to remember what I was thinking of there. Anyway, there you go. Those are the patch notes. I'm really curious to see what people are going to think about the Venator change. Again, we kind of want these things to be, you want a balance across the board. You don't want any dominant weapon. You don't want weapons that are just completely useless. Hairpin. So you kind of want to find that balance, but we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. Again, give it time, let it settle in. See what people think. Give it time. Give it time. You don't want knee-jerk reactions that just completely kill a weapon and then it's no longer usable. Nobody wants that. But yeah, that is it. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Hopefully that gives you some insight into stuff. Obviously, again, you guys can read these yourself, but I like to have these discussions and kind of get you guys involved with it too. See what you guys are thinking. See if you guys think like me, that kind of thing. Crap, I almost had it. I almost had something. Oh, I remember. The locked bunker, or was that what it? Yeah, the locked gate. Anyway, the event on Blue Gate. I saw it twice, ran it twice, something like that. I did it a couple times. I did a video on it. Apparently it wasn't ready, so I haven't seen it again. So I think they deactivated it. But I saw in the Discord, somebody asked something about locked gate, and one of the community managers said that it wasn't quite ready yet. Let me see if I have the screenshot, just because I don't want to give you guys info and then you guys call me a liar. You know, do I have it saved somewhere? Right here. This is what I saw. Yeah, can you please tell us anything about the locked gate event missing, please? That one is not ready yet. So yeah, I guess they added it and it wasn't quite ready. So we did all the opening up of the underground bunker and stuff, and then it was just the underground again. There was nothing new. So hopefully that means there is going to be something better underneath. Because I remember something in the wording about unleashing something or letting something out or something. So there might be something down there. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, apparently the lock gate was not ready yet. So hopefully we'll see that back. But yeah, that is basically it. We'll wrap it up before I yap too much more. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you all in the next one.